Hi. We're all mixed up here. I think I lost my guest already. Hey, it's Peter Clarke. How are you? How are you today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Red TV in Conversation. I'm Peter Clarke, and we're going to have a conversation. That's what we're doing right now. Hey, that was a funny intro just because I was expecting my guest to kind of be there, and she's not there right now. That's okay. We don't panic about these kinds of things. We never panic about these kinds of things. We're all good about that. So glad you're here with me today. I'm excited to have you here. We have so much to talk about. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, if you like and what you see here on Red TV, please, share it with people on the network. That's one of the things I don't ask enough of people. So please, this is part of the reason we're here today to talk about this, because we don't ask for help sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to ask right now. If you like what you see and hear right now, I'd appreciate it. Just to share it with your network and all that kind of stuff. And here's a few plugs for you. Listen, I'm my worst promoter. Okay, this is why I love amplifying people like I'm going to bring on today. I love doing that stuff. But hey, let's talk about a few things that's going on. I don't know if you know this. I have a little radio station. Yeah, I sure do. Digital radio station. That's what we do. And see that little icon there, that little QR code? You can just download it. Yeah, just right there. I'll wait a second. Go ahead, grab your phone. Boom. Download it right there. We have all kinds of fun things on there, music, conversation, things like that. And guess what? We can go on location and broadcast. Did you know that? Yeah, now you know. Now you know. So if you want to be on the radio station, just let me know. Reach out. 347 The Juice is what we do. And it's always fun to have people on the show, on the radio channel. It's so much fun. We play music, we have conversation, and it's a little less difficult than video. Video is very difficult, but radio and audio and all that stuff, I'm not saying it's not difficult. It is. It is. Hey, and by the way, anyone in the Calgary area, you got something going on Stampede-wise? Give me a shout. Simple as that. Just give me a shout. You never know. Maybe you need someone to do some hosting or live music or anything like that. Give me a call. Look at that guy over there. I don't even know if I have that outfit. I think I can fit in it though. I think I can still fit in it. That's the most important thing. That I can still fit in that thing. That's exactly what we're doing. So hey, let's get right to it. We have a lot to cover today, and I'm so excited to have this person because I'm trying to figure out exactly how we met. I'm sure she'll tell me. I can't remember exactly, but it doesn't matter. You just kind of cross paths and you run into people and stuff like that. And, this is a really, really exciting guest for me because I want to help people amplify what they're doing when they're doing good in the world. And that is so important. So someone right now, today we have joining us today, really believes that events and gathering together can be very transformational experiences, very transformational. And, by bringing people together and using creativity and emotion and connection and community, these kinds of things. And what's so exciting about this is that, her company basically designs these immersive, highly personalized experiences. Okay. So it blends together artistry and storytelling and inclusion and purpose. That's what she does. That's what she does with a company, Solve Custom Events. We'll talk about that. We'll get her to talk about that a little bit. Incredible background. She's a very private person, so I don't want to push too hard right now, but I'm going to push a little bit. I'm going to push a little tiny bit right now. It comes from modeling and fashion background, entrepreneurship. I mean, she's foster parenting, advocacy, community leadership. She's done it all. She's done everything. And what's really fantastic is that she's now using all of that creativity to bring together people and help organizations that really need help, when it comes to financial resources and support and so on. She's also the creator of what we're going to be talking about today, which is Mystic Moonlight Masquerade. And this is a really ambitious, visually stunning gala, but it's a number of events. So she'll explain this. It's not just one thing. It's a campaign. And it allows people to be participating. When I say people who can actually show up as participants, but also for corporate sponsorship and partnerships. There's multiple events that you can become part of. So we're bringing together live performance and fantasy and fashion and music and philanthropy and advocacy and all these kinds of things. And at the same time, supporting local charities. And the people that are being marginalized in our community. So it's not just a Calgary story or a Canada story. It's anywhere in the world. If you have a community, you can use creative ways to bring people together. So I could go on, as you could see. There's so much to talk about, and I am so excited to have you here right now. Lynea, thanks for joining me. Where are you? Oh, where is she? Is she coming to the stage?
I'm right here.
I see you. Your camera's not coming on right now. Oh, that's okay. I can kind of see you in the back there. I can see you in the back, but your camera's not on. That's okay. She's here, everybody.
Well, I am not sure what's happening. Perhaps I can just step out real quickly and pop.
Why don't you do that? Do that, my friend. I appreciate that. Do that. Let's do that. Hey, listen, everybody. This is live. We don't panic with live. This is what it does. This is what happens. Internet connections and so on. Just so you know, from a technology perspective, when you're doing live streams such as this, I mean, what ends up happening is that your individual stream that's coming from your internet connection is what gets aggregated and sent out. So long story short, it's not necessarily connected to the same internet connection. So right now we're having a little bit, that's okay, technical difficulties. We're having no problem with that. But we can make sure that we can get her involved here. Let's see if we can add her to the stage here and see what happens. Let's just see if she's there. Wow, that is fascinating that your camera, isn't it? We were just on like 2 seconds ago.
We were just on. I'm not sure. I'm hiding.
Well, you stay with me. Stay with me. And listen, anyone watching right now, listen, there's no panic in this. What we're going to do is I'm going to see if there's any particular reason why I'm not seeing your camera. And I'm trying to look for it right this second, just in the background here. And that's not happening right this very second. This is fascinating. I'm going to tell you, Lynea, never had this happen before. Did you do this on purpose? Are you so shy that you are hiding from me right this very second?
I am a little bit shy, absolutely. But no, I wish I had this kind of tech skill.
I know. We were just talking 2 seconds ago. I really don't understand why your feed is not coming in on your computer. So just go into your settings there for a second there. Listen, listen, everyone here, listen, you're going to get a rundown right now of how we do it. This is it. No panic when it's live. You just go with it. So just a quick peek in your settings, and it will allow you to say if your camera is connected or not to it. So underneath the settings part of it, you can see your audio section and your video section. Yeah, and you can just see if it's there.
It says that I am connected, and I am in high definition.
Wow, that is fantastically interesting because that's not the case. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me try this. Okay. I found you.
Oh, you found me.
Yeah, but you're frozen now.
Okay.
No, you're back.
Let's go there.
Listen,
boy.
No, listen.
Is that better?
This is brilliant. I love the fact that we just did that in real time. That is fantastic. Listen, you know what? I need to find a good producer. I need to find a good producer. Well, welcome to the show. There you are.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, there you are. I knew you'd be there somewhere. Hey, listen, everybody, we're just having so fun, and I'm so appreciate that you being patient with us and stuff. I think we have people commenting to us already, which is so fantastic. Look at this. Look at our good friend. She's already here. Patricia Morgan. Good to see you. Always good to see you. Yes, that's right. We don't panic. We never panic. Patricia, she never panics either. That is for sure. Hey, Marcello, good to see you, my friend, down from Atlanta. I appreciate that, my friend. Super appreciate you being here. Because, again, this story is not a Canadian story or a local story. It really is something about giving back and making a difference in your community and being creative about it. So that's what we're doing today and talking about those kinds of things. So good to see you, Lynea. Good to see you. I mean, I'm just so excited to have you here. And I'm going to put up your website right away so we can start talking about this. Mystic Moon Masquerade. But before we go into that, before we go into all of that, let's set some context for some people right now. I want you to share just a little bit about your business, your event planning business, a little bit about who you are, so we can set the context for what this Mystic Moonlight Masquerade is all about. So tell me a little bit about your company and what exactly you do.
So I am the owner of Solvay Custom Events, and I strongly believe that events should be relational. They should be reflective of who you are when you walk into any event. Don't care what it is. It should scream something about who it is that's hosting that event or what the event is about, what the meaning behind it is. And so I created my company to do exactly that.
Beautiful. And that's what I was trying to describe, not as well as you just did, but I'm just trying to describe exactly that. You take all of the creative resources of the things that you've experienced, and you bring it together with arts and music and things that are even on the fringe a little bit, and video, photography, all these kinds of things, and then bring them together into an event that really amplifies, very important subjects and issues and so on, so that we can have conversations. So I love that. I want to make sure people please go to the website and learn a little bit more about Solve Custom Events, because Solve Custom Events obviously is the creator here of Mystic, Moonlight, Masquerade, Ball, and Gala. So let's start there. Let's try to figure out how do we, when I was trying to tell people what this is, I was like, wow, it's not that complicated, but it's unique enough that it needs a special sort of treatment to describing it. So let's start with that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what exactly Mystic Moonlight Masquerade is all about?
Well, Mystic Moonlight Masquerade is a deconstructed gala. It is essentially all the important pieces of a gala campaign broken into individual events because they're all important. And we hire the arts and amplify artists that are local to the area, and all just gathering people together, where 100% of the proceeds go to 10 various charities within humanitarian fields.
Right, exactly. And again, when you say, you said that it's deconstruct. What was the phrase you said?
Deconstructed gala.
What does that mean right there to somebody? What is a deconstructed gala? I know that you basically, I'm going from what I've seen on the website, multiple events that are tied into one campaign. So explain that to people so they understand that it's not just one event we're talking about here.
So within a campaign or within any kind of a fundraising gala, you have key components. You have the charities speaking, you have sponsors speaking, you have the fundraising and the auction and all the fun stuff, and then you have the after party, the big party at the end. What we did is we said, if these are so important, and I believe truly that they are, then why don't they each have their own event where all of the proceeds go into a campaign kitty? You create multiple touch points for people to interact and network and get to really, truly know each other, so that the hope is you build long-term sustainable funding for organizations.
Love that. See, there's a couple key words in there: long term and sustainable. And in a time right now where I think a lot of people, and I know that you're experiencing this, or you must be experiencing this, we're a little, we could be a little desensitized to the needs out there. Or sometimes we're punch drunk, if you will, from just, there's so much need. We're always sort of being asked to participate in things. And this is why the creativity part for me makes a lot of sense, is that you're trying to awaken the senses a little bit so that it doesn't feel like it's just sort of the same old, and I don't want to say it that way, but, a dinner where you just get together and you talk about something and you write a check and then you kind of go home. This is not what this is. This blends fantasy, it blends theatrics, performance, art, music, fashion, and all of those things. Why was that important for you to go down that path versus you could have just supported those 10 charities another way? Why was it important for you to go this way?
Art's always been about protest. It's always been the music, the poetry, the playwrights. It's always been about voicing our struggles within society. It's always been our voice, our way of safely getting messages out, saying, hey, something's bothering us, something's not okay, and bringing awareness to it. So art is critical in the world of advocacy.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you think about it, you're absolutely right. I mean, I'll use one of my favorite examples today is that Springsteen is on tour right now, and he's very specifically on tour with a very specific message right now. And it's always the artists. You go back to the 60s, the protest songs and art, when artists would come out. And if you think about even today with Banksy, the idea of being able to use art to declare and talk about things that are in society that might be a little taboo when it comes to the languaging of it, or not even taboo, maybe a little uncomfortable at times. And I think that that's what this is about, is that you can have these difficult conversations, but it's under the guise of, fashion and music, that things that are part of our culture and our lives in general, and so on. What? Let's talk about the person who is listening right now, and I'm going to bring up the website, by the way, everybody, so you can get a feel for what we're talking about here, because it's super. It's visual. It's as a visual person myself in music and so on, it's very visual. So we'll do that. So I'll make sure of that. But let's talk to the person that you're hoping will get a ticket and participate in one of the 4 events that are coming up. Who is this designed for? Who do you think? What kind of person would feel connected to this experience, do you think?
I think the best way to describe this is that we tried to design it for all. Was really no specific demographic. It was, how do we help everyone feel welcome and included and a part of this movement? Because it should speak to all of us.
Right.
And so that was it.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about, again, art, and art is a really big subject matter, obviously, performing art, dance, theater, these kinds of things, modeling, photography, videography, all those things. And then you go on the music side of it, and then you go on the art side of it, the actual creative part of so on. It's all part of, like you said, our daily lives, which is pretty much everybody is touched by all of those things. And I think, with this, what intrigued me the most is that it has this draw of what is this? That's why I actually use that as the pro. I was like, what is this? And it makes you just curious as a human being to want to learn a little bit more about it. So I wanted people to visualize that. That's why I keep using these terms, because I want people to visualize themselves being there. And someone might say, well, I don't know if I'm into dance or if I'm into, that's not what this is. It's a little bit of everything. Can you again, talk about the idea of, when someone comes in, they're going to have all these touch points at the event itself. Talk about that a little bit.
So one of the things that is absolutely critical to us when we design each of the campaign events is that we want you guys talking to each other. We want people really celebrating the differences that they have, because we have far more in common with our differences than we would ever expect. And the only way we're going to learn about that is through touch points, is through the conversations, is through being in a space together. And the fastest, easiest way I've ever found to promote or make that possible is to make it an immersive experience.
Absolutely. And this is the thing I want to make sure we're emphasizing, is that there's going to be something there for everybody, is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, absolutely. We have multiple photo booth situations. We have food where even our catering menus, we really try to be mindful, very mindful, in fact, of being inclusionary. We take a neurodiverse approach to things in trying to ensure that there's a comfortable level of engagement for everybody. And there's a lot of thought that goes into those small details to ensure that you have safe zones and that you feel comfortable and that you feel welcome, and that it really does not matter how old you are or accessibility. We make sure we look out for all of those things. Our goal is to make it as inclusive as absolutely possible, always.
Absolutely. Here, I want to give you a few shout outs, because there are people are kind of tuning in and stuff. And Patricia said that she was glad that you made it.
Hi, Patricia.
There you go. I don't know, whoever this LinkedIn user is, somehow get a hold of us, text us or something. Tell us who you are and doing this. Here's, I guess, someone who knows you quite well, I'm assuming, right?
Good morning, Mike. He's coming to us probably from Grand Prairie this morning.
There you go. There's another person tuning in to see you. Laura, thank you for being here. We appreciate that. And Mike is actually calling out other people. So there you go. See, there's people tuning in and want to know. There's people tuning in. They want to know what you're doing. So let's talk about, again, I'm going to bring up the website in a second, and we'll kind of go through it a little bit so that people get a visual sense of what we're talking about here. Let's talk to the business community right now. Let's talk to the people considering sponsorship, partnership. Talk about why the multi-event approach is different, and what opportunities that exist because of that for these potential partners and sponsors.
So one of the biggest key points is that, how do you have a relationship if you talk to somebody one time, cut the check, and you don't talk to them again for another year? I'm a business owner. I find that I lack that personal connection when it was like that. And so what we thought was it would be lovely if there could be more frequent times throughout the year where you're building those relationships and you're learning really truly about what it is and how you're supporting and the impact it's making. And that's best done through multiple touch points. It gives you a chance to check in and really learn what's going on.
Right.
So that was one big thing. The other big thing was that we wanted to place the importance on the people that are involved in fundraising campaigns and initiatives. And that means that it's not just about the recipients. It's not just about the companies or corporations that are sponsoring. It really is about the whole. Right. And so that was a key important factor for us. Now, when it comes to sponsorships, it's really neat because you're no longer relying on one event to carry the full weight of an entire campaign.
Right.
You have multiple events all feeding into the kitty, so to speak, into the piggy bank. And then from that, you're able to balance those expenditures a little more equally.
Right. And you're right about one thing about when you approach a company. I can only go from my small experience. I know that you have a ton of experience in this, is that when you, like you said, you give them the opportunity for sort of one event, you're kind of hanging everything on that going exactly sort of planned. And hey, like our intro, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. And so the point of that is that it's not so much that one event can't give you the value. It's just that you're taking an expenditure or an investment into the community, into the charitable part of philanthropy and giving back. And you're putting it over the year. So in this particular case, I know you have 4 different events coming up, and I'll show those in a few minutes. And I think that that's a really powerful a position that a company and an organization can leverage throughout the year with you. So again, I want to emphasize that if you could share with me, like, what kind of sponsorship are you kind of looking for? Partnerships and stuff. Are there anyone specifically, people? Let's reach out to them right now and ask for some of their help if this interests them.
Well, I think first and foremost, we're looking to partner with organizations and companies that really value humanitarian or human beings. If you're not about society, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a business person. If I'm not for people, who's going to buy my product? So that's one. That's an important one. Yeah. But also people who value where and how their money is being dedicated. If I have the opportunity as a business owner to sponsor an event that is a one event, my sponsorship dollar, my branding, it goes to the one impact day versus sponsoring an entire campaign where your branding is at 4 different events throughout the campaign, and you have the digital program, then you'll have the printed program, you have all the branding opportunities, and we utilize massive cross-marketing.
Right there, again, different opportunities at different times at different events, but underneath the same umbrella of the one campaign, which makes a lot of sense. I think that's such a unique way to approach this, and again, I'm emphasizing it so that anybody in our network here that's listening to this, no matter when you're listening to this, make sure you get a hold of Lynea so that you can talk about what those opportunities are, and they're spread out over the year. And it's not just one thing that you're investing in when it comes to the community and so on. Go ahead.
It's the way that it's designed, Peter, is the earlier you get involved, the longer and more frequent of exposure you have.
Right. That makes
that's true of our program advertising sales. That's true of our actual sponsorships within the campaign itself. The earlier you come on board, the more and longer the visibility is for your company.
Makes a ton of sense. I'm going to bring up the website because I was last night when I was sort of prepping for the show. By the way, I do prep for the show. Just I know the beginning didn't seem that way, but I do, just so you know. And I was thinking, gosh, I could put up 1,000 graphics here. And I thought, you know what, why don't we just bring up the website itself and let people just to go through it very quickly so that you can get an idea of what the potential is, what it looks like, what it feels like, these kinds of things. I'll put up the website so that people can understand where we're going through. But I love this logo, by the way. Just so you know, I love the concept of Stand with Humanity. I think that's just brilliant. And here we go. I just want to show the goal here. The goal is $200,000, and you're going to be helping 10 nonprofits. Talk a little bit about those nonprofits. What do we? I know there's a large diversity in there when it comes to addiction and housing and human trafficking. There's a lot of different pieces to this. Talk to that for us, will you?
Well, I've spent the last 30-ish years being a foster mom. And from personal experience, my experience as a mom, and just my general experience in the world and working with nonprofit sectors, there's a lot of things that kind of are so intersectional. None of this is siloed. So if you are unhomed, you may also have mental health challenges, or you may also have some challenges around addictions and food scarcity. And so it kind of snowballs. And so we've spent a long time addressing one item at a time, or one issue at a time. I thought, why not try, and if they're intersectional as an experience, why not try and address them as an intersectional solution? So that means we took the 10 things we think we need for a healthy, safer, softer society, and we actively seek partnerships or beneficiaries within each of 10 humanitarian needs. And we dedicate 100% of the net proceeds from the events to the organizations, but we also do 10% of every single ticket sale goes directly to the organizations.
Fantastic. Yeah. See, again, ticket sales drives everything. Just for everyone to know, it's not always about the corporate sponsor to kind of fill that gap. You actually need participants to buy the tickets. So I hope people that are in the southern Alberta or Calgary, and listen, you can support from anywhere, but I mean, especially if you can attend one of these events, but please make sure that we're talking to the participant to come and the attendee as well, ticket sales. And then of course, on top of that, as you said, the corporate sponsors play a significant role. Let me see if we can find the list of beneficiaries. You talked about where they are, of what who they're going to. Would I find that under beneficiaries?
You would. You absolutely would.
Here we go. Who are we supporting? So would it be under, or the charitable organization? So
if you roll down, you'll actually see some of the names.
Oh, look at that. Here we go. So here's what we're supporting. I know that you might have mentioned this early to me, so I'm kind of jumping the gun here with some of these announcements here. But I wanted to list down the categories that you just talked about.
Oh, actually, if you go into the charity organizations, I believe it's under there.
Exactly. I was skimming through everything last night. There's so much. You've done a great job on being so transparent, by the way. I want to make sure everyone knows that is one key word that we all want when we're talking about, supporting something that maybe it's new to us and so on. You've done a tremendous job with that. So kudos to you and your team. Okay. Yeah, I just want to let you know that everything is so clear in the sense of, and you're giving so much information here. You're just talking about it, the 10% directed from the ticket sales directly as well. And again, there's the revenue model. There they are. Okay, here's the beneficiaries that I want you talked about: mental health and wellness, youth and family support, housing and poverty, addiction prevention, interventions, and so on. Community integration and inclusion, diversity, inclusion, these kinds of things, gender, domestic violence. Again, every one of these subjects are so big. They're in every community, by the way, every community, including the ones I'm getting to here, safety from discrimination, of course, and so on. Human trafficking, strangely enough, I don't know what it is about that particular subject, but we seem to think that it's somewhere else and not in our backyard, but it really is in our backyard. It's in every city, it's in every town. And of course, the last one there is such a powerful one too, suicide intervention and prevention. So you cover a wide gamut of organizations or areas to focus on and so on. So I just love that. I just wanted to share that because, again, going back to the purpose of the event, there's a little bit of everything for everybody, including the supporting part. So there's something in here that touches somebody one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's what I'm recognizing as well, is that you've done a great job in trying to do that. Let's just see if we can find a little bit more. Anything here you want me to kind of I just want to bring it up because the pictures are unbelievable. I mean, when you see the people, when you see what's coming out, it's like, what is this? I mean, this is so cool. So I guess I could go to the events. Could I do that?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go there just for a second, because I think we're missing a lot of the visuals here. These are just unbelievable, like the pictures and the events and what's coming up. Talk to us as you're seeing this stuff. Just let me know.
So Calgary is very fortunate, and quite honestly, all across Canada, we are very privileged to have incredible photographers and artists and performers and musicians and sculptors, and with not often the easiest access to be able to showcase their work. And so one of my favorite parts of this project is really getting to put a spotlight on local artists, including our photographers. So we worked very hard to be sure that we could offer galleries that of an incredibly diverse group of photographers and videographers throughout last year's campaign. So what you're seeing is actually images from last year's events. Right. So last year was our first year. And of course, you learn, you live, you grow, and we're going to do it again.
That is fantastic. I see some familiar faces in there. I'm not going to talk about them right now because they're in every photo in the city. So I accidentally went on that, and he knows exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about here. So I'm not going to let the thunder be stolen right this second, just so you know. It's all good.
We do the 4 events, and really it's to take our patrons and our supporters on a journey. So we start with Threads, which kind of really uplifts the fashion industry and talks about what it is, not just from a curated designer fashion. We have like the costume shop, for example. They do incredible rentals for exactly our kind of events, where you can go and you can rent your costume. And by the way, they are very, very generous this year as a huge sponsor for us. If you have your ticket, and you can show that you have your ticket from Eventbrite, you get 20% off of your rentals or purchases.
Fantastic.
Towards things for our campaign events. The other thing is if you're just kind of on the fence and you're not sure, but you're thinking about getting a ticket, you still get a 10% discount.
Right. How do you be? Yeah, there's something there for everybody is the point. Yeah. You can win. There's win here and there. I'm fascinated with the masks and all that stuff. Where does that come from? I love the theme that there's always masks, and even your logo has that. And what is the kind of thinking behind that?
Venetian Carnival. So Venice has a carnival 2 weeks of every year. And historically, Carnival kind of started within protest. You wore masks to protest in the streets at a time where you'd get dead. And since we don't prefer to have people die, they would fully cover their bodies, fully cover their face, so they were completely unrecognizable, and they would protest together. Eventually, they affected change, and that's lovely and amazing, but they then turned it into a celebration. So therein lies the celebration with protest within celebration that we see at the end. The final ball of our campaign is always a celebratory piece. And so the masks are our way of recognizing that I don't care who you are in society, we're always wearing masks. We're always putting on some sort of protective coating so that we can be okay in the world around us. And some of us more so than others. And so this just gives a visual representation of that.
Right.
And then you can choose to take it off or not.
Yeah, I really do. I love that concept because, you hear it a lot in thought leadership and these kinds of things, and just in life philosophy in general, that you're right. We do, we all individually have our own masks that we kind of wear, and it's very symbolic, very metaphorical to actually physically have a mask on, and this idea of taking it off and revealing who you are and peeling back the layers, and that's life. I mean, that's society. I love the idea that again, thematically, it's the senses, and I'm looking at it, and again, I keep saying, what is this? It's so cool. So that's why I'm.
And I got to give a hats off nod to Miss Olga Semenova, Miss Olga Sem's Masks. Olga is actually a certified trained Venetian mask maker. She was trained in Venice to make authentic Venetian masks. And we were privileged enough to have Olga lives within the area. Surprise. Okay. Shocking surprise. She lives within the area, and she happened to jump on board last year, which was I'm so in awe of this woman's talent. She really is incredible and just a super kind human being. And so she's massively involved this year, kind of peripherally through the IM International Arts and Media Foundation, who's one of our partnering, not beneficiaries, but an arts program, or a nonprofit that uses their platform to uplift artists. So we generally pay all of our performers or source a lot of our resources through partner nonprofit arts organizations.
Right.
And sports organizations, believe it or not. I don't know if you're aware, but last year we had one of our events had the female rugby team out of the Calgary Canucks Rugby Club come and do our security.
Brilliant. I love it.
They use their funding for humanitarian efforts as well as for their own fundraising, travel, sports stuff. And so we try as many times as possible to uplift the other organizations that are out there doing incredible work that make a healthier society.
Brilliant. I love it. I wanted to put up a comment here because there are people here, and I so appreciate you guys all being here. Here's Michelle. Mystic Moonlight is so unique and such an incredibly memorable experience, and the connections made are second to none. So I mean, it's just it has this very incredible personal experience, yet it's still collective, and that's what I'm sensing. I'm sensing if you go, you can have your own experience, and yet at the same time you're with other people, and that what makes it. I talk about these things a lot. Everyone knows, for me, especially on LinkedIn specifically, I keep talking about going live, being live, doing what we're doing now. There's something when you're in someone's presence, when you're in their presence, you feel it and you're aware of it. So very similar to this kind of event or campaign, these events, when you're there, there's just something magic that happens because you're in each other's presence. And I really love that. I'm going to bring up the actual events themselves. Let me see if I can jump to that real quick. And put it up. But thank you, Michelle, for that comment. And you're absolutely right. I'm sure that these are amazing experiences. So let's go down to the dates to let people know what's coming up. You talked about Threads as being the first one. So May 13th is the first one.
Coming out quick.
Yes, it is, everybody. That's why we're here. We want to make sure that anyone in the Calgary area or anybody interested in learning more about even the next three for sure. But the first one also, sets the tone. And as you mentioned earlier, Lynea, is that, the earlier you get in, the more opportunities you get to have those touch points. So talk a little bit about each one of these very quickly to let people know what exactly they mean and what what the goal is of each of these events within the campaign.
Okay, so Threads is really about showcasing and helping people understand what the theme of the year is, because our themes change every year. And they're so thematic that you don't want people guessing. So we were like, okay, let's put on an event that showcases what this is going to look like and feel like, and what kind of clothing you could wear if you chose to. Right. No mandates.
Right.
Then we head into Mystic Mingle, which is always about the charities. It is our opportunity for our sponsors, our charitable organizations, our patrons to really learn about what it is the organizations are doing, how they're doing it, and for them to have that intimate touch point. It is also our family-friendly event. So that is one where youth can attend with the whole family.
Got it. Perfect.
Then we have Menagerie, because without our sponsors and our supporters, we really are dead in the water. We really are. So we like to be able to give thanks and really show them that they're an integral part of what we do and how we do it, and we appreciate and are so gracious for their participation. And then we have the big celebration at the end.
Right. Let's go down
And that
here.
is just,
Here we go.
yeah. And through all of these events, we have local performers, we have videographers, we have camera people, photography, we have musicians, we have dancers. We really do try and showcase a variety within the arts world. We even have live painters often. We have sculptures. There's a big surprise coming up for Mingle this year, where we're going to have an interactive sculpture building.
Fantastic. So people that are actually showing up are asked to participate in creating whatever the artist might be working on.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I like that idea. Yeah, that's a very good thing. That's taking karaoke to the next level.
Right?
That's like on steroids, right? That's totally on steroids. No, I love that. Let me ask you this while we still got people's attention here right now about the event itself. What do you want people to walk away with? Let's just say we do find these great people that want to participate. The sponsors are there. And so on. Now, what do you want them to walk away with at the end of the night at any one of these events? What is it?
I want people really, truly to walk away with the idea that we are better together. We are better as a collective than we are individual, and we are more powerful. We are more poignant, and we are much kinder as a society, as a race, as a world when we are together.
So true. Again, this collective experience when you have with people and being in each other's presence, there's something about it. It's a little easier to be disconnected when you're just texting and online and these kinds of things. But when you're in someone's presence, it's different. It feels different, and you're absolutely right. You walk away with a totally different experience altogether. Here, yes, you have an announcement. But Laura's she's so excited to see this. There's two. So
two announcements.
let's jump right to that. Yeah, I know that you're excited and you wanted to share that. So I'm happy for you that you again. I know that there's all kinds of technicalities of why some of them aren't announced yet, but that's just for legal reasons and all that stuff. But you do have an announcement of people that are going to be beneficiaries. Who are they?
So I think it was about 1:00 in the morning last night. We finally got two organizations that are absolutely near and dear to my heart. Red M, the movement. Red M is an awareness initiative that works amongst all of the organizations and within the full realm of human trafficking. And so they have signed on as one of our beneficiaries, and I could not be more happy. That is honestly a program that has touched my life. It's a situation that I see frequently, and I think there's a lack of conversation. It's a difficult, challenging conversation to have. And they do it very softly. They do it in a holistic approach. And that's something that I truly value. And so I'm ecstatic to be able to announce that Red M has joined as a beneficiary.
Right.
The other program, two announcements. The other one is much more personal in the sense that, for those of you who don't know, I think you know Peter, my husband is an advanced care paramedic and has been for some time. And the resources for our first responders can be incredibly limited, but the amount of repetitive traumatic incidents that they are exposed to is astronomical. I don't have the exact stats, but one of our beneficiaries absolutely does. And so the Phoenix Foundation is an organization that is dedicated to our first responders. What is absolutely unique about Phoenix Foundation is they take the full spectrum of therapeutic options and they apply them all. In addition, in their definition of what and whom qualifies as a first responder. So police, fire, paramedics, EMTs, 911 operators, nurses, tow truck drivers.
See, that one no one thinks of, but keep
No
going.
one thinks of.
No one thinks of that, but keep going.
And veterans. So these are people that see incredible amounts of trauma, and often it's just so cumulative, and they don't get to talk about what they see. The confidentiality that is required within their practices does not allow them to easily share, and they have to be seen as the strong person. So it near and dear to my heart.
Yes, of course. And like you said, I mean, the collective of those people, like how many people in our society are touched by individuals in those different verticals of what you just referred to? I mean, just nursing alone, just that. So broad, exactly. It's so big.
And they will be, both those organizations will be joining Rowan House Society, who specializes in domestic gender violence programs, and are in the process of creating a family initiative program where it's not just working with the victim themselves. It is taking a much more holistic approach. And the part that I really love about Rowan House is that it's pet friendly.
Ah, fantastic.
Which is, people don't think something so small as my cat,
absolutely,
my support animal, my person in this world. Because some people, we really do think of our pets as our babies. They're our family.
Of course.
How do you leave them behind? So I love that they're thinking of those small details in what it would take to really, truly support people. And so they've joined as well.
That's fantastic. Just to add to that, I mean, yeah, ask anybody who's had a cat or a dog or an animal for 10, 15 years. And of course the animal passes. I mean, that experience is it. They're family members. So you're absolutely right. When a lot of trauma can be obviously experienced when you're separated from that. I know when I had my dog, if someone took if I had to separate from I just wouldn't. And I know that feeling that you're referring to and how traumatic that would be. I love that. I love the fact that, and again, it's so much fun to be able to let people know of these organizations and what they do. And you're right about, I wanted to emphasize one thing that you just talked about, again, this Phoenix Foundation being closed, the phoenixfoundation.ca. Being close and dear to you, and as you said, Red M, they're referred to as Red M, small, the letters red and then a capital M is their logo. Very difficult subject matter to talk about, but as you said, just gently being able to have those conversations so that we can just, again, take the mask off. Let's not pretend it's not happening, and at least be aware of it, and be aware that it's happening right in our own communities, right?
Well, and to understand and be able to have the conversation that it is often not just about exploitation or sexual abuse, that there's labor trafficking, there's so many different types of trafficking that never crosses our mind. And I love that they are really partnering with the boots on the ground organizations that do that stuff. And then they bring the education piece and the awareness piece. Did you know that they're 100% volunteers, Peter?
No, no, I did not know that. And there's your example. I mean, there's people out there doing things, these quiet heroes in our community that we're not celebrating enough. And, when you compare, and this just popped in my head, and so we're just chatting. I mean, none of this is rehearsed, but I mean, my point is, like, I was just, we just recently seen in the news, about the Met Gala, for example. And when you watch that and think about what we're talking about, it's mind boggling, the difference of how we can really be participating in a different way in our communities. And we don't have to that extreme. There's a disconnect is all I'm saying. And I like the idea that, again, we're connecting with people that are having really tough conversations in our community. So I love that. And thanks, Michelle. Yes, agree. Presence is so important. And that's why we're emphasizing the idea that there's something here for everybody within the Mystic Moonlight Masquerade Ball and Gala. Now, I'm going to do something that I know that you're comfortable with me now. I mean, it's just me and you. We're just chatting here. But a little bit more about you. I like you've had a lot of stuff in your life, kind of show up, and motherhood, and you talked about fostering children and entrepreneurship. You're a business owner. You've experienced loss in your life, rebuilding, reinvention, all these kinds of things. You could be doing a lot of different things. I wonder how those experiences have shaped you to prepare you for what you're doing right now. Can you share any insight on those life experiences and why it's brought you to this point?
What I can say is I've experienced the kind of poverty that people really don't know exists in this country. I've experienced abuses that people would never imagine ever doing to another human being, both personally and peripherally. And I've also had people along the way that, whether they know it or not, stepped up at a moment that I absolutely needed them. And it wasn't big, grand gestures. It was small little things that made all the difference. It was the third grade teacher who wrote me a letter when I had to move across the country and go to my 23rd different school. Wow. It's my grandma raising me and teaching me how to make medicines with nothing and how to forage in and be able to go, I can find food if I need to, or I can make jam, or I can be kind and I can share even when I barely have enough. Because sometimes that is far more important than anything else.
Yeah. I wanted people to hear a little bit more about you and why this is so important to you. And I want to respect that privacy because, you have life experiences that, like you said, that some people would find quite just unimaginable. They just would not believe that these things happen. And I don't know why I always say this. I always say, and in Canada, when I don't know why I think we are different. I feel we are. I feel our country, but I bet most people in different countries feel the same way. But there's something about Canada. I always feel like, wow, I can't believe some of these things are happening right here, but here we are, and they do happen. So I think, again, you are so personally connected to so many of these stories that's what makes you uniquely qualified to, talk to why these are so important. And like you said, when someone shows up at that quiet moment when you need them the most, boy, you never forget that. You just never forget that. So I appreciate you sharing that. I don't want to take you down that path because I didn't prep you for that.
You did not.
I know she's going to say to me after, she goes, you didn't tell me about that. So I want people to, fall in love with what you're doing, fall in love with what you stand for and what you've been through, so that they recognize that if I'm investing in this concept, I'm investing in someone who has walked the talk. They've been there, they've done that. And I think that's just really, really important to do that. What's the hardest part? What's the hardest part of this big vision that you're painting right now? What has been the hardest part to launch this thing so far? And more importantly, second to that question is that what's the hardest part? But how can people help you right now? So let's start with what's the hardest part, and then how can we help you?
I think the hardest part is it's so different and it's so new and it's so over the top that people are a little confused by it. Honestly, if they're going, what is this? I think your title very accurately sums it up. I think trust. I'm so deeply private that people question my motives. We've become a very cynical society where people are like, what's in it for you? Nothing. Doing right because somebody did right by me once upon a time, and because it's the right thing to do. Like, that's hard to be able to convey to people that don't know you, and without telling your story or my kiddos' stories, that becomes performative in my view. I don't think that should ever be necessary, other than to say it's the right thing to do. What makes this particularly challenging is lack of understanding around, one, what's involved in putting on these kind of events, the funding that is required in advance of the actual. Calgary's a last minute ticket buying city.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And so one of the challenges is that we have to put deposits and sign contracts often a year in advance. And that means that money's tied up. It's we can't wait until a week before an event, on top of the fact that the catering really gets upset with us as event organizers when we don't tell them how many people at least a week in advance.
Right.
We get in trouble. So yeah, definitely ticket sales and helping people understand when and how monies are due, which is a big part of why we're so transparent on our website. We want people to understand the process that we're going through because it is different. The other one is sponsorships. Because we are dividing the money between 10 organizations, we set I think, a very reasonable goal.
100%. I think this is a super reasonable ask of any corporation to support. I really do. Because again, you're not looking for $25 million. You're not at.
No.
I agree with you. Keep going. I just want to emphasize that the numbers, I think, are very
have
achievable.
Sponsorships that start from $750 and head all the way up to the second tier, which is $60,000 sponsorship for a full annual campaign of exposure and multiple events. You're getting a lot of bang for buck, but also you're supporting incredible organizations that are doing the hard work for us. They are making our world better. Not just one person at a time, although that's what they do, but holistically, they're making the world better.
Absolutely. Now, let's jump right to how can people then help you right now? Let's do the hard out. You can speak it to me, but I mean, I want people to hear how can we help you right now? And part of why I wanted to do this is exactly that, just to let people know that's my transparency. I love amplifying and supporting people that are doing good. And that's what you should be using your ability to do these things for. So if you're a good videographer or you can do live streaming or whatever the case may be, that's what I should be using it for. And this is why I really resonated with what you were doing. So that's why I wanted to help. So I want to ask you what are you looking for and how can people help you right now?
100% right now. First and foremost, we're still looking for 3 nonprofit organizations. We have 5 MOUs that are currently sitting with board of directors. Until they either sign or don't sign, they're tied up. Those positions are tied up, but we are looking for 3 more. So if you know of a good organization, hit us up. The other is we have an advocacy award that we Patricia actually was one of our 2 award winners last year. If you know somebody that's doing amazing in the world, in the community right now, nominate them. It's free. Nominate them.
Yeah.
Join our inclusivity draw. We had a generous donor donate 10 tickets to the gala once each month leading up to. We will be drawing 1 winner for 2 tickets to the full gala ball at the end. So that's a big one. Sponsor, buy your tickets to the event. Talk about us, like, share, follow us. We don't pay for reach.
Right.
We do everything organically. And that is a big deal to us as an organizing committee. We stand by that one. But sponsorship and ticket sales, 100%.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I wanted to emphasize again that there's a little bit of something in here for everybody. Again, especially this is Calgary area, so specifically organizations that are in the greater Calgary area, or if you have your company is a national company and you have an office here in Calgary, there's lots of ways to kind of participate that way. And then when it comes to the individuals, just buy a ticket and actually show up to one of the events.
As well, Peter, because I don't know if you're aware, but Red M actually is global in a lot of senses. So they have chapters in the United States, in England, I believe, in Canada, certainly, and they are growing awareness. So Doesn't have to necessarily just be right here, right now. The other thing we're looking for is auction items, but we have a caveat. A lot of auction items, when you go to charities, they are almost pre-purchased or purchased if someone buys. So you get what's over and above the cost of. We actually only use 100% donated items and zero added cost to our patrons, because there's just a little bit of morals and values around that for me. Like, if you don't do bait and switch in my world. So if you buy an auction item from us, you know that 100% of that money is actually going to the organization's campaign. Kitty.
I love it. I love it. No, that's great to know. And so again, organizations that are out there that can help out with maybe an item that could be used for that. Maybe that's part of their packaging, reaching out to you to learn more about the sponsorship part of it. Again, it goes over 3 or 4 different events and opportunities to have exposure. And there is something said for doing what we're doing now, is just trying to get the word out through our own means. And that's why I admire what you're doing. I just think it's fantastic. And I hope people will have heard that message, that, they can reach out to you and learn more about the organization. So let me make sure I do that real quick. I've been putting it up throughout there's the website, everybody. Mystic Moonlight Masquerade.com. That's you reached out there. I'm telling you, that website, kudos to you and your team. Again, very, very transparent. You talk about, I think when we were talking somewhere, but you mentioned that almost jokingly, you said something to the effect of, yeah, I have this accountant and they don't let me they just want me to document everything. I'm like, and you said it in a really good way. And it's good to know. I mean, people want to know that, when they're again, reaching out to you, you're right. There's a trust factor, and they want to be able to support you and know that. And thank you for sharing some of your own, just little tiny, pebbles on your beach to express why these things are important to you. And you're right. It is a strange time in the world when we, when you say, I just want to do good in the world, is not good enough. Sometimes they want to hear a story, and they want to hear all of the really deep, dark things that maybe is not required to be shared. And so I appreciate the fact that you just touched upon a little bit of that for us, and so on. So it makes a big difference. It really, really does. Now, listen, I really appreciate your time. I mean, I've kept you way longer than I thought. I was trying to keep you to 30. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at much. Yeah, it's okay. The reason why I wanted to make sure we covered as much as possible so that we can go back and use some of this and be able to share with the world moving forward as we continue. So I think that's really, really important. One of the things, though, I normally ask a whole bunch of questions of people just to kind of get to know them. But I won't do that today, because again, I want to respect the some of the boundaries that we've decided on or chosen today. But I do want you to do this for me. This is an important thing for me to always ask especially someone like you. I mean this in the kindest way. I mean, just the fact that you do have this amazing life experience. And I always ask this of people, and I want you to answer this for me. So finish this sentence for me, would you? Could you finish this sentence for me?
Sure, I'll try.
I love my life because
I never thought I'd have one like it. I love my life because I get to wake up every day and choose to be the person that should have been there for me. I love my life because I can wake up and know that I put food on the table and I help others not have to be so afraid of life.
That's fantastic. I can't add to that. I mean, that's beautiful. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. That's powerful stuff. Thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. And I'll tell you, you're doing amazing things, and I'm super glad that I can't even remember how we ran into each other. I said that at the beginning of the show. How do we do? What was that about?
You left me when we were running. We were doing In From the Cold, the coldest night of the year, down for Woods Homes and doing their fundraiser. And we were part of the Happified.
Oh, we were doing
never met. And you had a bad knee and you lapped me.
Well, I did have a bad leg that day. Yeah, I really did. But I said I played the hockey night. That's right. Now it's coming back to me. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I hurt myself, and then I thought, oh, I can't not go to this thing. I gotta go. And but that was funny. Yeah, that's right. We were walking along with each other. That's right. I forgot. That's how we kind of.
I was feeling pretty good because I actually have a disability, and so I was like, I'm killing it. I'm rock star, and there comes Peter, like from behind. Going, oh, my knee hurts. Do fast past me. I was like, oh man.
I think it's because I was walking to the craft beer place. I'm just being honest. I saw the craft beer place. I was like, oh, my steps got faster. I know that's the case. I know it is. Now that I'm thinking about it, but no, that's great. I'm glad we literally stumbled across each other. So I love that. And here's a nice message from your good friend, Patricia. Love your answer. So there you go. I think she's referring to your I love my life because. So there you go. You have a tremendous supporter right there. I'll tell you that. She's something else, isn't she? Is Patricia not like this? She's unbelievable.
Incredible. And when I tell you, Peter, like the people that have come on board this project, and they're one, they might be insane like me, I don't know, but they are the most kind-hearted, generous human beings you will ever come across. Red Fox Multimedia, who does our website and our logos, Fox and Bat, the Fox and Bat media that do, well, one, they do all my SEO, and Marshall fixes everything I break on the computer when I'm messing with things. I could not be here without our social media content manager, without Dawn Paczynski, who's behind the scenes all the time doing all this stuff. Our ambassadors, our Moonlight ambassadors they just rave about what we do. And they don't just rave about it. These are people who live exactly what they say they're going to do. And that's important to me. The integrity behind each of the people that are involved in this project is second to none. And it has always been that way since I took over this whole endeavor.
This whole thing.
It really is about just incredible people with exceptional integrity. They have a value and moral system that just guides them in everything they do. There's nothing performative. There's nothing transactional about them. They really just are who they are. Oh, I forgot to mention Rita, Alnor, Laura, Randall McDonald. There's so many people.
Yeah, you're not.
I can't.
I know that feeling. Yeah, don't feel bad and no one's going to take it that way. You just can't remember everybody, but like you said, you've surrounded yourself with some great people. Here's Mike again, just talking about keep showing quiet strength, big heart, real compassion. There you go. I mean, talks about you as being very, very selfless. So obviously you're attracting, who you are. So if you're talking about how great your people are, I would just look right there in the mirror. So I think you're doing amazing work, and I hope that people learned a little bit about this. I hope they got a sense of who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, and in a sense of some of the community, the people that in the community that you're going to be touching with this. A wide range of people that will definitely need help, always need help. And also positioning it that there's lots of ways for people to get involved, whether it's from corporate sponsorship or tickets. And again, over 4 different experiences that they can have, not just one event. So very different, very unique. I love it. I emphasize, I hope people go to the website and they'll reach out to you. And thank you for spending time with me. It's great to have a conversation finally, right? And I know we crossed paths a few times, and I'm sure we will again. And so for everybody who's out there watching, we're going to go into the comments. I know I'll go into the comments for sure. I know Lynea will do the same. We'll go in and we'll respond to you. If you have anything specifically, you can always either send me a DM or look up Lynea on LinkedIn or go to the website and reach out and say, hey, I learned a little bit about you today. I want to learn more, or how can I participate? How can I help? And I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. Would that be a fair statement? Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say thank you very much, Peter, for giving this platform, for really truly learning the whys and the hows behind Mystic. I'm very grateful.
Oh, you're very welcome. Again, that's a pleasure of mine of being able to do this and try to help amplify the story of people that are doing really, really good work in our community. So I love it. I mean, it's if, like you said before, it's our community. Like if we're not doing this, who's doing it? I mean, I guess that's the biggest question, right? I mean, who's doing this stuff if we're not doing it? So I'm always fascinated by the idea that we always think it's somebody else, and it's not. It has to be us. It has to be us that are out there doing these things and feeling connected and doing something about it, if only talking about it and raising our voices. So appreciate that. You stick around after, by the way. Even when we go off air, I'm going to come back to you and we'll chat for a little bit, and I'll let you get on with your day because you have a busy day. I know. I so appreciate that. And everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching and share this, learn a little bit more, reach out to the website, and just be good out there. That's all you have to do. And you know how this thing always ends, right? You know how this ends, right? It's just be kind out there, everybody. Just be kind. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is be kind, everybody. It works out for everybody, I promise you. Okay, we'll see you on the other side, Lynea. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Just be kind out there. That's all you have to do. Just be kind out there. I mean, that's all you have to do. Just be kind out there, everybody. I mean, just be kind. That's all you have to do. Just be kind out there, everybody. Hey, just be kind. You know the drill. Yeah, just be kind out there, everybody. Just be kind. Just be kind out there, everybody. That's all you have to do, right? Exactly. Just be kind out there, everybody.